The Cuckoo is one of the hardest songs to pin down melodically. It seems like every singer who's done a version of this has come up with their own melody or borrowed and embellished the melodies of others to such an extent that there doesn't seem to me to be an official version. This means that each new artist who approaches it is free to do whatever they like on the song. It's not so bound up by convention as a typical traditional folk song. And so we see a cappella versions, full band arrangements, orchestral arrangements, and then these sumptuous soundscapes, such as the ones by U.R. Wolf, who is also known as Kerry Andrew, a very exciting folk artist who does a lot with electronica and controllerism to change songs and inject this new energy and vision into them. My favourite melody, which you'll hear today, is the one broadcast by Pentangle on their album Basket of Light from 1969. They were a band, as mentioned previously, who added jazz inflections to their arrangements, and the guitar playing in particular is really interesting. Maddy Prior, who never sang in Pentangle, but as a vocalist shares many characteristics with Pentangle's singer Jacqui McShee, does use the same melody on her 2008 album, Seven for Old England. So it's a melody that bookends one of the busiest, most creative periods in the British folk revival. And I also love the way that this melody follows an AABC structure, so that the second line echoes the first, like you might hear in a 12-bar blues. The third line builds the ideas and develops the theme, and then the fourth line very neatly, cascadingly closes the sentiment of the verse. In this arrangement, the song has 3 verses, but just like the proliferation of different melodies over the years, there also seems to have been a very liberal approach taken to the lyrics themselves, and you can find versions of the song with up to 6 verses. But whichever melody and lyrics you like best, it all does come back to this humble little creature that is considered by many to be the harbinger of spring and an omen of hope and renewal. One of the singers we'll be studying later in the year, who did a version of The Cuckoo and wrote some accompanying notes in his album, The Foggy Dew and Other Traditional English Love Songs, was called A.L. Lloyd, and in 1956 he wrote the following: "Spring cannot start till the cuckoo sings. Perhaps that is why the cuckoo is a magical bird. Turn your money when you hear him first, and you'll have money in your pocket until he comes again. Whatever you're doing when you hear him, you'll do most often through the year, especially if you're in bed. No bird is more oracular. It can prophesy how long a man will live. There is no better omen for love than the song of the cuckoo, the beloved bird of folklore." The flattering invocation to the cuckoo in this widespread song is perhaps in the nature of a magical safeguard for the worried lover. And before we head to the music, I'll conclude with a reflection on today, 21st of January, being St. Agnes's Day. Thank you to one of my listeners for getting in touch this morning and pointing that out. St. Agnes's Day was traditionally for divination of one's love life, and if you fasted for 24 hours on St. Agnes's Eve, then said a certain prayer and dreamed about any person, the implication was that that person would end up being your romantic partner. As Storm Isha rages outside, it does feel incredibly early to be hoping for some spring weather, but with this magical, ambiguous herald of spring to guide us, and St. Agnes overseeing the divination rites, here is the cuckoo. Enjoy.
Oh, the cuckoo is a pretty bird, she sings as she flies. She bringeth good tidings, she telleth no lies. She sucketh white flowers for to keep her voice clear, and the more she singeth cuckoo, the summer it draweth near. As I was a-walking and talking one day, I met with my true love as he came that way. How the meeting was a blessing, but the parting was a woe. I found him false-hearted, he'd kiss me and then he'd go. How I wish I was a scholar and could handle a pen. I would write to my lover and to all earthly men. I would tell them of the grief and woe that attend on their lives. I would pray them have pity on the flower before it dies.